June worked in the lower docks of the trade station, known as Helios Drift. It was a place where many races passed through, but few stayed for long. The metal hall smelled of fuel and old air. June liked it that way. Noise and movement helped him forget the past. He wore simple clothes most days, but his old uniform jacket stayed folded in his locker. He did not wear it often. It reminded him of a life that no longer existed. June was human, and that alone made him unusual. Humans were rare in this part of space. Many believed humans were gone or broken after old wars. June never corrected anyone. He kept his head low and did his work. He loaded cargo, fixed clamps, and followed orders. He spoke little and listened more. People thought he was just another worker with tired eyes and strong hands. On one slow cycle, a transport ship arrived from the outer routes. Its hull was damaged, and its crew looked scared. Among them was a young alien girl named Era. Her skin was pale blue, and her eyes reflected light like glass. She walked slowly, as if the station itself frightened her. June was assigned to help unload the ship. He noticed Era watching him, but he did not care. Many aliens stared at humans with curiosity. While moving crates, June's locker door was left open by mistake. The old jacket slipped out and fell to the floor. Era froze when she saw it. Her eyes locked onto the inside lining of the jacket where a faded symbol was stitched. It was small and worn, shaped like a broken circle crossed by 3 lines. To June, it meant nothing anymore. Era stepped forward with shaking hands. She knelt on the cold metal floor without warning. Her head lowered, and her voice trembled as she spoke. She said that the symbol marked the chosen one. She said he was the one they had waited for. The words echoed through the dock. Workers stopped moving. Machines went quiet. Everyone stared. June felt heat rush to his face. He told her to stand up. He said she was mistaken. He tried to pull the jacket away, but Era did not move. Her hands touched the floor in respect. Her eyes were filled with fear and hope at the same time. Other aliens began to whisper. Some backed away. Others reached for weapons. Security arrived within minutes. Era was lifted to her feet and questioned. June was pulled aside. He explained that the jacket was old and the symbol meant nothing special. The guards did not seem convinced. Humans were not common, and old symbols carried weight. June was told to return to his quarters and wait. Inside his small room, June sat on the edge of his bed. He held the jacket in his hands. He remembered when he first received it. Long ago, humans had fought across stars they barely understood. That symbol had been given only to those sent where survival was not expected. June had survived anyway. He never thought it mattered. Later, Era was brought to him under guard. She apologized for causing trouble. She explained that her people had stories passed down for generations. They spoke of humans who stood against the dark when others failed. The symbol was proof. June listened, but shook his head. He said stories grow larger with time. He said he was no hero. Era insisted that heroes never believed they were heroes. She said the symbol appeared only when the galaxy faced great change. June felt tired. He asked why her people never came to humans before. Era lowered her eyes and said they were afraid. Humans had once been too powerful. Word spread fast across Helios Drift. Traders spoke of the kneeling alien girl. Messages were sent off station. June noticed watchers near his door. He understood that his quiet life was ending. When night cycle came, he put the jacket on. The fabric felt heavy, but familiar. He did not know what awaited him, but he knew running would change nothing. For the first time in many years, June stood straight and waited. The station did not feel the same after that day. June could sense it in the way people looked at him. Some avoided his eyes. Some stared too long. Even machines seemed louder, as if the metal itself was nervous. He kept wearing the old jacket, not to draw attention, but because taking it off now felt wrong. Era was not allowed to leave the guest section at first. Her people had paid for safe passage, but the station council wanted answers. June was called in more than once. He repeated the same words. He was just a worker. The symbol was old. It meant nothing. The council listened, but their faces showed doubt. They knew stories, too. A new presence arrived 3 cycles later. Her name was Hannah. She was assigned as station security, tall and calm, with dark hair pulled back tight. She was human, like June, but carried herself like someone who had not forgotten how to fight. She was ordered to watch him and keep peace. She did not like the order, but she followed it. Hannah spoke to June plainly. She asked about the jacket. She asked about the symbol. June told her the truth. He said the symbol marked a unit sent into battles meant to be lost. He said humans wore it to remind themselves that fear could be faced. Hannah listened quietly. She did not kneel or whisper legends. She nodded, as if the answer fit something she already knew. That night, Era was allowed to meet June again, this time without guards close enough to hear every word. She looked tired, but her eyes still burned with belief. She said messages had reached her people. They were afraid. Others in the region were afraid too. Some believed the symbol meant war would return. June felt anger rise in him. He said humans were tired of war. He said they had lost too much. Era answered softly. She said the galaxy did not forget easily. When a strong hand disappeared, many rushed to fill the space it left behind. Some ruled with fear, some with hunger. Her people had suffered because humans were gone. Before June could respond, alarms rang through the station. Not a drill. A warning. Unknown ships had entered the outer range. They did not answer calls. The council ordered lockdown. Panic spread fast. Traders ran. Dock doors sealed. June was pushed aside as security moved. Hannah returned with a weapon in hand. She told June to stay close. Era stood behind them, shaking but silent. Through the station windows, dark ships drifted like shadows. They were not here to trade. Everyone knew that the attackers did not fire at first. They broadcast a demand. They wanted the human with the symbol. They claimed his presence alone was dangerous. They said if he was handed over, the station would be spared. Silence followed the message. Heavy silence, the council argued. Some looked toward June with fear and blame. Others refused to give up a civilian. June felt the weight of old choices press on his chest. He stepped forward. He said he would go. He said no one else should suffer for him. Hannah blocked his path. She told him he was not cargo to be traded. She said giving in would only invite more threats. Era spoke next. She said her people's stories warned of this moment. The chosen one was never meant to stand alone. He was meant to remind others how to stand. The attackers lost patience. Small craft broke from their ships and moved toward the station. Defense systems activated, old and weak. June watched technicians struggle. He remembered drills from long ago. He remembered calm under fire. He moved without thinking. He gave clear instructions. He showed them how to reroute power, how to focus fire, how to use timing instead of strength. Hannah watched him closely. She saw not a worker, but a soldier who had never truly left field. The first attack was pushed back. Not destroyed, but delayed. The station shook. Smoke filled corridors. People cried and shouted. Through it all, June stayed steady. Era watched him with wide eyes. This was not a legend. This was a human choosing to stand. When the attackers withdrew for the moment, Messages flooded in from nearby stations. They had seen the fight. They had seen the symbol through shared feeds. Some offered help. Others warned of more danger. The galaxy was paying attention. Later, in a quiet room, Hana spoke to June alone. She asked him what he planned to do. June looked at the jacket, now torn at the sleeve. He said he did not plan to be a hero. He planned to survive and help others survive. Era joined him and bowed her head, not in worship, but in respect. She said the symbol did not mean rule or power. It meant responsibility. June closed his eyes and accepted that truth. His quiet life was over. The past had found him, and this time he would not turn away. The station repairs took many cycles. Scorched walls were sealed. Broken lights were replaced. People moved slower, as if afraid the air itself might break again. June helped where he could. He carried tools. He lifted debris. He spoke little, yet eyes followed him wherever he went. The symbol on his jacket had been seen across shared feeds. It could not be unseen. Era stayed close, learning the rhythm of the station. She helped in small ways, bringing food to tired workers and translating for crews from distant systems. She no longer knelt. She walked beside June. That mattered to him more than words. Hana kept watch, her presence calm and firm. She trusted June now, but she trusted danger more. Messages arrived from beyond Helios Drift. Some were offers of trade and aid. Others were warnings. The attackers had a name now, spoken in low voices. They hunted symbols and histories. They believed old power should stay buried. If it rose, they would cut it down. The council asked June to speak. He refused a platform. He agreed to a room. He told them he would not lead fleets or claim titles. He said humans once tried to carry everything alone, and it broke them. If the station wanted help, it would be shared help. The council agreed, because fear makes honest deals. A small convoy was planned to move refugees from nearby routes. The attackers had made travel unsafe. June joined the convoy as a guide, not because he wanted command, but because he knew how fear spreads in silence. Era insisted on going. Hana insisted on guarding them both. The convoy moved through narrow lanes between stars. Sensors flickered. Shadows played tricks on tired minds. June taught crews to watch patterns instead of noise. He showed them how to rest in turns. Simple habits saved lives. They were ambushed near a dead relay. Fast ships cut across the convoy, testing shields. Panic rose. June spoke clear and slow. He ordered lights dimmed and engines cooled. The convoy drifted as if broken. The attackers hesitated, unsure. Hana led counterfire in short bursts. Not strong, but precise. Era watched the screens and felt the stories change inside her. The legends spoke of storms and fire. This was quieter. This was patience. The attackers pulled back, angry and confused. The convoy passed through unharmed. They reached a refuge station filled beyond capacity. Children slept in halls. Elders shared thin blankets. June walked among them without ceremony. He helped fix doors. He listened to fears. He did not promise safety. He promised effort. People believed him because he did not lie. News spread again. Not of a chosen one, but of a human who showed up. Other humans came forward from hiding. Old pilots, medics, engineers. They shared marks of service, not symbols of worship. A network formed, slow and steady. The attackers struck the refuge station days later. This time, they came hard. June coordinated defenses with local crews. Hana led teams through smoke. Era guided civilians through safe paths she had mapped. Loss came, but so did resolve. In the worst moment, When shields failed, June stood in an open corridor and directed power by hand. He burned his palms and kept going. The station held. The attackers fled, leaving wreckage behind. Afterward, June sat alone, shaking. Hannah said nothing and handed him water. Era sat nearby, quiet. She said the stories had been wrong in one way. They expected kneeling. What the galaxy needed was standing together. A message arrived from distant systems, asking for guidance, not command. June answered with simple rules. Share watch. Share food. Share truth. Do not wait for heroes. When they returned to Helios Drift, the station felt different again. Not tense this time. Awake. June hung the jacket to dry and stitched the torn sleeve himself. He did not hide the symbol. He did not polish it either. The past had weight, but it no longer pulled him backward. It pushed him forward into work that mattered. The galaxy was changing, not because a legend had returned, but because people remembered how to choose courage together. The galaxy did not wait. Trouble followed June and those who stood with him. Small fights broke out along trade paths. Some were caused by fear, others by old grudges waking up. Helios Drift became a place of planning instead of hiding. Ships came and went with purpose now. June spent his days listening and his nights thinking. Asia worked with station crews to map safe routes. She learned fast and asked many questions. She no longer spoke of prophecy. She spoke of balance and survival. Hannah trained volunteers in simple defense. She taught them how to move together and how to retreat without panic. She said survival was also a skill. A message arrived from a border colony. It was weak and broken. The attackers had returned, stronger this time. The colony had no shields left and few weapons. If help did not come soon, it would fall. The council looked at June without speaking. He did not answer right away. June knew what a rescue meant. It meant risk. It meant loss. He remembered past missions where command had promised safety and delivered graves. He said yes anyway, not because he believed in fate, but because choice mattered. The relief group was small, too small for comfort. Old cargo ships were fitted with spare armor. Crews were mixed, human and alien side by side. Era joined as a navigator. Hannah took command of security. June refused any title. He worked where needed dot as they traveled. Fear pressed on everyone. June spoke during meals. He shared stories of mistakes, not victories. He said fear could be useful if it did not rule you. People listened because he did not pretend to be fearless. They reached the colony to find fire and smoke. Buildings were cracked open. Power flickered. The attackers circled like hunters waiting for weakness. June ordered the ships to spread out and draw attention. It was a simple move, but brave Hana led ground teams into the colony. Fighting was close and loud. June stayed with engineers, restoring shields one section at a time. Era guided civilians through narrow paths she had memorized. Her voice stayed calm even when her hands shook. The attackers landed and pushed hard. They expected chaos. Instead, they met lines that held. Humans stood with aliens. No one waited for orders to help the wounded. No one fled alone. The symbol on June's jacket was seen again, not as a threat, but as a signal dot at the height of the fight. A heavy weapon tore through the main shield node. Power surged back and burned systems. June ran into the heat without thinking. He rerouted lines by hand, skin blistering, breath short. Hannah dragged him clear when it was done. The shield rose again. Not full, but enough. The attackers hesitated. Their leader sent a message, asking who commanded this force. June answered himself. He said no one ruled here. He said they defended their own. The attackers withdrew, leaving behind damaged ships and unanswered questions. The colony stood, scarred but alive. People cried and laughed at the same time. June sat against a wall, exhausted. Era knelt beside him, not in worship, but to help clean his wounds. In the quiet after, leaders from nearby systems contacted Helios Drift. They asked how to prepare. They asked how to stand without becoming monsters themselves. June sent simple replies. Train together. Share warnings. Protect the weak first. Not everyone agreed. Some wanted power back in old hands. Some wanted humans to rule again. June refused them all. He said humans had learned what unchecked power cost. Hana supported him openly. She said leadership was not a crown. It was a burden carried until it could be shared. Era translated these words across cultures. Slowly, trust grew. When June returned to Helios Drift, the station greeted him with quiet respect. No banners. No cheers. Just open paths and steady hands. He placed the jacket in his locker for one night. The next day, he wore it again. The symbol no longer belonged to the past alone. It belonged to those who chose to stand without kneeling, to fight without hating, and to protect without ruling. The galaxy was still dangerous, but it was no longer alone. Time moved forward, even when fear tried to hold it back. After the colony defense, the attacks did not stop, but they changed. The enemy tested borders instead of striking deep. They watched, learning. Helios Drift became a quiet center of many paths. Ships arrived to train, to trade, to talk. June spent long hours meeting crews and listening to worries. Era helped build shared signals between systems. Simple codes. Clear warnings. No secret power. She believed that fear grew in silence, and so she worked to keep voices open. Hannah continued to train mixed teams. She focused on discipline and care. She said strength without control was just noise. Some asked June to take command of a fleet. He refused again. He said fleets needed trust more than flags. He helped create circles instead, small groups that could act fast and support each other. Humans and aliens joined without rank. Skill mattered more than name. The enemy made one last move. They gathered many ships and pushed toward a key route near Helios Drift. If they took it, trade and rescue would break apart. Panic spread across channels. Old leaders called for a single ruler to answer the threat. June listened and chose another path. He sent a simple message to all who had trained together. Stand if you can. Protect your neighbor. Do not chase glory. Then he went to work. Ships gathered from many places. Not a grand armada, but a living line. Crews shared fuel and food. Plans were made openly. Mistakes were admitted early. Era coordinated routes so no one stood alone. Hannah set clear rules of engagement. Defend first. Withdraw together. A battle came without ceremony. The enemy pushed hard, confident in numbers. They expected fear and confusion. Instead, they met calm movement. Lines bent but did not break. When one ship faltered, two moved to cover it. When a path closed, another opened. June stayed on a small command ship with limited weapons. He watched patterns and spoke short orders. He trusted others to act. The symbol on his jacket was seen across feeds again, steady and worn. The fight lasted many hours. Loss came, as it always did. But panic did not. The enemy pressed and failed to split the line. When their fuel ran low and their crews tired, they pulled back. This time, they did not return. Afterward, silence spread across the route. Then voices rose, careful and relieved. No cheers, just breath and thanks. Ships returned to their paths. Trade resumed slowly. Refuge convoys moved with escort. Leaders asked June to speak to the galaxy. He agreed to one message. He said humans were not returning to rule. He said no one should kneel again. He said the symbol meant a promise to stand together, nothing more. Era translated his words across cultures. Hannah added her own message. Training would continue. Help would be shared. No one would be left to face fear alone. Time passed. Helios Drift felt lighter. Children played in halls again. Crews laughed between shifts. June returned to simple work when he could. He fixed clamps and carried crates. People greeted him like a neighbor. One quiet cycle. June visited the old dock where the jacket had first fallen. The floor was clean now. He touched the symbol through the fabric. It no longer pulled at him. It rested. Era joined him and thanked him. Not as a chosen one, but as a friend. Hannah stood nearby, watching ships move like stars. She said the work would never truly end. June smiled and agreed. The galaxy had not become safe, but it had become honest. Humans were remembered again, not as conquerors or myths, but as people who stood when it mattered and shared the weight. June closed his locker at the end of the shift. The jacket hung inside, ready when needed. He walked back into the noise and life of the station, one human among many, carrying a promise that belonged to all.